Hello everyone. Today we will be learning about commas and subordinating conjunctions. Commas are used to indicate a pause in a sentence, separate items in a list, and separate parts of a sentence. They help avoid confusion and misinterpretation. So, what do you mean by a subordinating conjunction? A subordinating conjunction connects a dependent clause to an independent clause in a sentence. Examples for subordinating conjunctions are after, although, as, because, as much as, etc. So, basically, there are two rules that you need to remember with respect to commas and subordinating conjunction. First, the first rule, in a sentence containing a dependent clause and an independent clause, a subordinating conjunction is used to connect them, and a comma is used after a dependent clause. See, example. First example, although it was late, she finished her homework. Although it was late is a dependent clause. She finished her homework is an independent clause. Although is a subordinating conjunction. See, what do you mean by a dependent clause? A dependent clause, as the name suggests, depends on other clauses or an independent clause to make sense. It cannot stand on its own. Whereas an independent clause, again, as the name suggests, is independent. It doesn't need any other clause to make sense. It can stand on its own. Okay? See, although, as I said, is a subordinating conjunction that is introducing a dependent clause. Although it was late. See, although it was late is a dependent clause because does a sentence make any sense? No, unless and until we write she finished her homework. Once we write this sentence independent clause, it make the whole sentence make sense. Okay. Therefore, place a comma after although it was late, which is a dependent clause. She finished her homework is an independent clause. Okay. Second example, as soon as she opened the door, she saw her boss waiting near the door. See, again, as soon as she opened the door is a dependent clause. She saw her boss waiting near the door is an independent clause. As soon as is a subordinating conjunction. Therefore, place a comma after as soon as she opened the door, which is a dependent clause. Next example, because they left late, they missed the train. See, because is a subordinating conjunction. Because they left late is a dependent clause. They missed the train is an independent clause. Therefore, place a comma after because they left late. Next, after I watched the game, I went for a walk. See, again, after is a subordinating conjunction. After I watched the game is a dependent clause. I went for a walk is an independent clause. Therefore, place a comma after I watched the game. Fifth example, as much as I love cooking, I like boxing too. See, as much as is a subordinating conjunction. As much as I love cooking is a dependent clause. I love boxing too is an independent clause. So, place a comma after as much as I love cooking, which is a dependent clause. Next rule is do not use a comma when a subordinating conjunction appears in the middle of a sentence. A comma is not needed if the dependent clause follows the independent clause. Example, first one is she finished her homework although it was late. She finished her homework is an independent clause. Although it was late is a dependent clause. Although is a subordinating conjunction. See, here in this sentence we are not using a comma because here the sentence is beginning with the independent clause and is being followed by a dependent clause, and although, which is a subordinating conjunction, is placed in the middle of a sentence. In such case, we do not use a comma. We use a comma only when a subordinating conjunction introduces a dependent clause followed by an independent clause. Only in such case we place a comma after a dependent clause. Okay? Second example, I went for a walk after I watched the game. See, here also, I went for a walk is an independent clause. After I watched the game is a dependent clause. After is a subordinating conjunction. So, since here also an independent clause is coming, is placed at the beginning of a sentence, and a dependent clause is following an independent clause, and a subordinating conjunction is placed in the middle. Okay, therefore we do not use a comma. Next example, I love boxing as much as I love cooking. Here also, I love boxing is an independent clause. As much as I love cooking is a dependent clause. As much as is a subordinating conjunction. Therefore, here also, since the sentence is beginning with an independent clause and again a dependent clause is following an independent clause, we do not use a comma. This is it for today. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.